Hello, Gmail666 here. Um, if you haven't figured it out by now, by the title, this is a remake of a story I've been wanting to make for a long time. So, anyways, let's get to it. As we see, three kids in front of a church. One's Asta, one's Yuno, but the middle child is different from the other two. He was put there by uh, people from his own kind, and he just was recently born, but his family and his whole entire people were wiped out by some powerful people with bows and arrows, and he's the only one with a tail besides his father that was part of the same people that were getting annihilated. So he was brought here to be taught how to be a um, respectable, kind, and young man like his father. This little boy's name was and is she, Ru Rouge and Lecky. He's gonna have a hard time with a lot of things because he really doesn't really have magic. More like he's got powers, but he does get a grimoire with magic because he does have a minuscule of magic. And I'm not going to say what kind it is until I think about it for a while, until we get there, basically. So as we see the priest coming outside, hearing a faint knock, then the person that dropped off Rouge and Lecky disappeared. As the priest came out, Father Osai, he looked down and saw three babies. He brought all three of them in. Hang on. I hate popcorn. He said he brought all three of them in and set them by a nice warm fire. He looked at Asta. He was a free spirited one. Was the cool and calm and collective one. And then he looked at me and he said, "There's a lot of potential in you, boy." Which there was, not me, but my character, uh, Rouge and Lecky. So he went to go find out their names. So your name is Asta with the gray hair. One of the black hair with a necklace in there is and finally the one that had a letter on him was Rouge and Lecky. What are we gonna do with you boys? Well, that's for a later date. But little did everybody know, uh, Rouge and Lecky hair starts to change to like Asta's hair because him and Asta are not brothers, but they're gonna be like brothers. And plus, it's the starting age of his time to become an ancient being of his race, and he's the only one that he of his kind to do that. So, as he and his brother and were growing up, a lot of stuff has happened since then. Ouch! But that's a lot of stuff. But I'm gonna skip to the main part. 15 years later, Asta was trying to propose to Sister Lily as a joke. He's gotten out of that habit when he was younger, thanks to Ryuji Neki, who pounded it in his head and told him about what marriage really was, and well, maybe he could do it every so often to cheer her up when she was feeling down, and he decided to do that instead. And it did cheer her up. It made her seem like Asta didn't change all the way. And that's what was Ryujin's plan. On the other hand, is a different story. You see, had to fight with a guy when he was 5, but he couldn't fight him. He was just so much of a crybaby. Then Asa came along with Ryujin, but when Ryujin saw Asa get beat the hell up, something snapped and he beat the guy up to a living pulp. He was still alive, but he was pretty beaten. And he grabbed his necklace and gave it to never let anyone take what's precious to you, no matter how powerful they may be. You have to find a way to overcome their strength. And with that, Littlefoot, after that, changed. He never cried. He never did anything but train his butt off to help, or to not be seen as a crybaby anymore. So, as I was saying, or I was saying, Ryujin, or about that Sister Lily, if she needed any help, all of a sudden, wind magic started to dry the clothes, and Asta, rolled their eye, or Asta and Ryujin rolled their eyes because they they were not they didn't have magic, or but that's what people think they had. Asta has a very unique kind of magic. It's called anti-magic that makes him have like no magic at all. Because his father was, I don't know. I don't really know how he got anti-magic. I haven't watched the anime or read the book in a while, so my memory of Black Clover is a little shady. So I'm sorry. I might want to look it up later, but not right now. I'm too tired. Anyways, as us and Ryujin were about to go chop some wood, next thing you know, wind just chopped the wood in half, both leaving them pissed off, and left out of the church area and started training. All of a sudden, Ryujin, because ever since he was born, he could sense the power in people. He said, "There's something different inside of something different within you, and it's not anti-magic like I thought at first. It's something more of a bloodline akin. You think you can knock into me? I don't know, but I really don't want to." I don't know what it is, but it's quite dormant, quite powerful. So just be careful when you use it, okay? No problem, bro. So they decided to have a spar and see if he can unlock his new ability. And what a spar it was! Fist connected, there were shockwaves and earthquakes and all kinds of stuff as they were fighting and sparring, blocking and countering, and flips and kicks and all kinds of good stuff. One final hit from Ryujin was about to hit Austin in the head. Time seems to stop as he heard a voice inside his head. So you're gonna let your friend, I hate popcorn. You're gonna let your friend beat you up with a minuscule punch of his. You are a Sparta boy. Now let me see you wield my blade, Yamato. Just don't kill him. I know he means a lot to you, so use the sheath to knock him out. And then all of a sudden appeared in his hand was Yamato, and he tried to smack Ryujin with it. Ryujin brought his hand up to guard it. Bang! Ow! That kind of tickled, said Ryujin, but he realized that his brother got his power, so he said, "Now, Ru, or Asa, look at the sword you have." Yeah, I know. Somebody called Sparta. Ryujin eyes went wide. What's wrong? You are a Spartan, Asta. I read a book about that in Father Osai's a um, books library. He never lets anybody go into. I kind of snuck in there, and I read about the Sparta versus his own clan, and he had 3 sons. But I wouldn't imagine you be young. No, I'm his grandson. He said. That's even better. Who's your dad? I don't know, but by the looks of it, you might be Virgil's son without him knowing about it. So that ends our training for today. We got to get ready for the grimoire ceremony, okay, Asta? Okay, Ryujin. I hate popcorn. So as Ryujin and us go back to the church after they blew off steam, and Sister Lily looking at them with her arms crossed. Did you two spar again? Uh-oh. They both look, yes, ma'am, we did. Go upstairs, get changed, and freshen up. We will be leaving soon. Like, and don't do that ever again. We felt it. Earthquakes from here. Sorry, Sister Lily. We won't do it again. Good. So after that, they went upstairs, got changed into new, different clothing. Well, set us up with the same clothes. Rear Rouge and with different clothing. He has a black t-shirt, black jeans, or not really black jeans, black pants on, with wooden sandals. He's also got a armor greaves and stuff on his arms and stuff. He's also got a armored legs, or where the greaves were just above the legs. He doesn't have any armor on the feet, so he got mobility, and he has his gauntlets look more of a dragonkin gauntlets. So he was ready for his new wardrobe to be finished. He tied a sword to his hip that he had gotten when he was young. He wrapped his tail around his waist and make it look like a belt, so that way nobody can make fun of him. Only people who knew he had a tail was the people at the church, because it grew out of him one day and he didn't know about it. But he he understood what it was, because he had a flashback, or had a dream about his father being a hero of the world, and then he ended up dying and becoming a soul reaper, and blah 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 blah. So as Asta and Rouge were finally done dressing up, they went to the grimoire ceremony. All of a sudden, all the grimoires came falling down. They were already at the ceremony when this was going down. The grimoires were falling down to everybody. Astos came flying through the window and into his hands, but Ryujin's and Yuno's were both four-leaf different kind of clovers. Yuno's was just a regular four-leaf clover. However, Ryujin's was a four skull leaf clover with a badge on the back of it, and a tail, a tail going down the as a stem. That's when the priest saw it. He almost crapped his pants. Nobody's ever had that grimoire before, not since the last person who had it. And he was a very nice guy. Young. Everybody looked at the two four-leaf clover people, and they were shocked. There were two different kinds of grimoire. Look at that. Some random guy. Look at that. Some no-name people get four-leaf clovers. Yeah, they're no match for us anyway. We're nobility after all. I was gonna say, or Asian was gonna say, you want to make that a bet? I bet you could break your face in 5 seconds. But he didn't. Asta was very excited to get his very own devil grimoire, since he had anti magic and devils and Sparta magic, but he can't use his Sparta powers just yet because he hasn't trained them yet. But he can use the sword, but he has to be trained in it. So, as me and Asta were walking through the forest with our grimoires after and saying goodbye. The family is saying that we will be back after a while. And us that and Ryujin were about to head inside the church as they were dead tired until they heard a scream all the way from where they were at from the ceremony area, which was odd for them. They had enhanced hearing. That was awesome. So they ran to the spot only to find, and they got there in record time too. They didn't even need reinforcement magic for their legs. They were there quicker than they thought they were. They saw a guy holding, stealing his grimoire, four-leaf clover. Ryujin was now getting mad like Asta. Asta grabbed his Yamatos from his side. And next thing you know, he was filled with instinct on how to use the blade. And Ryujin, on the other hand, his grimoire opened up to a first page in the book. A blade came out. Uh, this blade was different from regular kind of Zambakto from Bleach. This one was called Rugetsu, or the Lunar Dragon. It was basically based on the lunar eclipse. and, and the lunar eclipse blade would be drawn blood of its victims. But once Asta or Ryujin got their swords out, they were attacking the chains left and right with all but instinct installed. They had no current inhabitants. They didn't know what they were doing, but they were doing it with instinct. They were slicing the countless of chains and that were trying to kill them. All of a sudden, Ryujin got an idea. He powered up his sword into a very powerful blade or powerful humming sound around it. And then he struck it down on the ground and sliced through multiple of the chains and uh, almost cutting loose as was on the ground, thanking the heavens that he was alive still. But the guy that was about to kill, after that, got a sword to the face, not cutting him in half, but sending him flying to a wall unconscious. Everybody looked at with his other grimoire, with his grimoire open. Another sword came out, and with uh, his Yamato, his Yamato being put back in its regular spot and being replaced by a giant claymore. And by the looks of it, the fight was over. And was very proud that his brothers would come save him, even though he's been a jerk to them. But he still has to be a jerk. He has to be on his own path to find the right path, to be the Wizard King path. So Ryujin just wanted to be a good, powerful knight. He never wanted to be a Wizard King like his two brothers. So 6 months, it's 6 months of training later, Ryujin finally was able to manifest some ki. His ki that his grimoire showed him and how to do it, and how to use his spiritual pressure along with ki, so that way he can have his bloodline or his birth powers work together. Needless to say, he's a very strong boy, and they actually gave him a time not time spell thing. Yeah, time spell with the gravity seals or gravity magic, so that way he can train better and get stronger. And boy, oh boy, did he use that for the 6 months. Right now, I would say he's probably around when the Goku was coming towards planet Namek, almost after the Frieza fight. He doesn't know Super Saiyan yet, but he's got Kaioken down. That's what the grimoire has for him. See, his grimoire is not like a magical grimoire. It's made for him personally. You okay, baby? Sorry, my dog was acting up. It was like he was choking on something. Anyways, so as Ryujin and Asa were training finished, they decided to train in different areas. Yuno was training in the woods with wind. Asa was training in the skull, trying to get his strength up, and Ryujin was God knows only where he was training at. Well, he was in a little place that was high in the sky, but it wasn't pretty. It looked pretty run down and broken, and no one was there for over centuries. So he went inside the side of a time vault, basically, and started training there for one day, every day for 6 months. For every 6 months, yeah, he got about like I don't know how many is 30 years times six. 90 years of training, I'm guessing. If I'm wrong, then uh, correct me. As he came back to his family, he got a, but he's not that strong. He doesn't have Super Saiyan or anything yet, but he does have Kaioken, and he's mastered it too, where it doesn't harm his body thanks to that area. So, so that way he can get his body to be not so much strained, and he had his tail uh, pretty much squeezed to death by a key clone he created with the multiform technique he got from the book. And so now he's stronger than ever. So Asta and Ryujin, are you ready to go? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Father Osai. We are ready. Sister Lily comes up. Ryujin, you look more well defined. What happened? I had a lot of training to do. Asa, his training I guess went pretty well as well, but my training was pretty much hell. But I can't tell you about it yet. Sister Lily, thank you for taking care of me all these years. I gladly appreciate it. No problem. Anything for the new son of the kings. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, so Ryujin, uh, and Asta, and we're now walking away from the church, going through mountains, trains, and Ryujin just flying away, flying, barely hovering on the ground, so that way he doesn't get tired of walking. Both and Asta gave him a glare. Son of a bitch, you can fly. It's not his fault that he was made differently. And then they made it to the capital. Asta was gonna buy some of these snake things and eat them, but Ryujin smacked him in the head, and dragged him to the uh, grimoire ceremony, or the magic night ceremony, I should say. My bad. So after a while, After Asta went in, it was Ryujin's turn to go in, and Ryujin showed him his grimoire. People looked at the you're his offspring, and gave him a number and let him in. His offspring. What does that mean? I don't know. He said in his mind as he became closer and closer. He noticed there's a lot of birds around everybody, but him, and then Asa comes in with the most birds of all. But he got so mad at the birds, he channeled his demon power, and then they all went whoosh, flew away. Everybody looked like, whoa, he's hiding his magic. No, he was using his demon power, different from magic. So, as Oruzin and Asta were talking, they accidentally bumped into a big burly man. Big burly man looked at the two and tried to grab them by the head, but Ryujin grabbed his hand and started crushing it with just sheer power of muscle. I would suggest not crushing my head there, mister. I know you're a magic knight, but you should not be going around trying to kill people. I could crush your face in right now, but I'm not going to. That's disrespectful for a magic knight. Now go back to your place before I change my mind. He lets go of his head and goes up to the to the Captain Booth, Brandon or Ryujin. You you couldn't have done that. I'm sorry, you Asta, but nobody deserves to be threatened like that. Captain, are you all right? Is your hand okay? Oh no, it's fine. It just got almost crushed to a million pieces. Yeah, it's fine," said Captain. What was his name? Yami. He was very sarcastic in tone at that time. His hand hurt like hell, and that kid was super strong. So as the trees began to descend, magic brooms were sent to help them fly. Ryujin just said, "Ha!" flew his threw his broom away and flew up to the sky himself and started twirling around in circles and just stayed there with his arms crossed. Beat this, bitches. Everybody looked up at him. How is he doing that? What kind of magic is that? Flight magic? Nope. Guess again. Even though his grimoire is open and his chi is channeling through his body to help him fly like this, he he still needs his grimoire to help channel it correctly, or else he could be in big trouble. So once the test was over, another test was coming up. Uh, Something about, and then after all that, all the other tests were done. Besides the dueling part, Asta was dueling a doofus, thinking he was better than Asta because Asta couldn't do magic, but he did get his broom off the ground a little bit with his Sparta power or magic or whatever. So the guy turned into a bronze boulder. I'm like, Asta could destroy that instantly. Asta, destroy that piece of junk of protection he has. You could do it. Which sword should I use, Ryujin? I don't know. Surprise me. Just then he pulls out Yamato. Everybody goes, is he going to kill him? What kind of sword is that? He goes into a an Ido stance and slashes his blade and and slowly puts his back and then clink all that protection that kid had, and he had multiple cuts all over his body, but none lethal. Yeah, and he passed out. Winner by knockout. Uh, Asta, was very surprised. That sword was very powerful. Um, that sword was very powerful. It was different from the one he seen at the church or the tower when he knocked that guy out. 'Cause he couldn't see Yamato earlier. Ryujin was now versing 3 versus 1. They all had transformation magic, not like elemental transformation magic, so they could transform things into their own will. So Ryujin just said, "All right, I'll square up with you. I'll make it easy. I won't use my fist. I'll use a sword." He grabs his only sword he's ever known out of his grimoire and puts it up in the air and closes his eyes and talks to his blade. Urugetsu, are you ready? Yes. Let's destroy their hopes and dreams. Lunar Dragon is not a bad Zanbakuto, but it is a blood or lunar eclipse Zanbakuto, which it has a devastating ability for blood, but it's not. It doesn't need blood or anything. It's just what it looks like. It looks like a crimson blade, but it's like a fiery blade, but it's not what you think. So he channels his Buritsu to his blade, and it's fire, but it turns into a heated metal along the blade, and it can slice through anything. Come at me. And then they all came at Ryujin with their monsters in hand, and then slice, 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 slice. He was so quick. He sliced through all the creatures and knocked out their owners within 3 hits, and about 60 cuts of the creatures. And then he put his blade away, and he said, "Thanks, Lunar Dragon, no problem." And then after that, they were like, "What happened?" The 3 contenders passed out, and their creatures just went. Yep, Ryujin was a badass. So now Ryujin, it's Asta's turn. He got he just defeated his people easily with his wind magic. Whatever. He went to the Golden Dawn. It was Asta's turn, and Asta didn't get a vote, which pissed me off. I was starting to get really angry. If Asta didn't get into a squad, then I was going to kick some ass. You think anybody's going to let you in with that devastating power? Uh, you're lucky that you can't. And then whatever happened in the regular storyline. Then it was my turn. I got to choose something else other than Asta's and Yuno's group. So I got to wait and see who wants me. Open my eyes. Everybody all the captains raised their hands. Besides Captain Yami and uh, the other guy, the Golden Dawn. Let's see. Who would be perfect for me? Who is a good matchup for me? Let's see. I can go to Blue Rose or the Fire Guy. You know what? I'm gonna go with Mr. Felion, or no, I'm gonna go with who is the next guy? I'm gonna go with the Blue Rose Knights. Everybody looked at her like he was crazy, but she raised her hand and she wanted him for some reason. But no one made a difference. She shook her head. Okay, Shar or or personal whatever buddy, whatever it calls. You're gonna let him join us? He doesn't look. Call me captain. He's stronger than you think. And plus, he might help us out, help everybody out. He doesn't look like the bad kid. He looks very, very respectful. Oh, and by the way, this is a harem fic, but it won't be. There won't be any nasty parts in there. There'll just be kisses, and that's it. Sorry. So as us or and go to their squads, and Ryujin goes to his squad. She shit. This is gonna be hard. I've never done one like this before. So, Am I gonna be okay here? I know you have a lot of girls. She giggled. Oh, you're gonna do just fine, uh, Ryujin. But that's all I could do for today, guys. I'm getting tired. Later.